Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode corporate mumbo jumbo. Today we're diving into Metsera's latest 8K filing, and let me tell you, it's not just your average we did stuff report, it's about obesity drugs, and by the end you'll see why this filing is making waves, because it's all about weight loss numbers. Before we dive in, if you enjoy getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you subscribe. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below for deeper discussions. So on June 9, 2025, Metsera, a company focused on new medicines, announced some exciting top-line results from their phase 1 clinical trial of MET233i. Now, MET233i, that's a mouthful, is their fancy name for an injectable drug they're testing to help people lose weight. It's designed to be a long-acting version of something called an amylin analog. The goal is to treat obesity and being overweight with fewer injections. This phase 1 trial was designed to be careful and thorough. It's what's called a randomized placebo-controlled double-blind study, meaning participants were randomly assigned to get the drug or a placebo or fake drug, and neither the participants nor the researchers knew who was getting what. The trial had two parts, a single ascending dose portion and a 5-week multiple ascending dose portion. In other words, they tested different amounts of the drug to see how it affected people in both a single shot and with multiple shots over time. The main goal was to see if the drug was safe and how well people could handle it. They looked at things like lab results, vital signs, heart readings, physical exams, and any side effects that popped up. They compared all this to the people who got the placebo. But there was also a secondary goal, which was to understand how the body processes the drug, that is its pharmacokinetic or PK profile, and how it affected body weight. In the first part, the single ascending dose or SAD part, they had 40 people split into 5 groups. These groups received different single doses of the drug, ranging from a very small 4.15 milligrams all the way up to 24. In just the higher the dose, the more weight people lost. For the highest dose, 2.4 milligrams, the average weight loss after subtracting the placebo effect was 5.3% by day 8. To put it another way, if someone weighed 200 pounds, they lost about 10.6 pounds in just over a week. The placebo group only had a weight change of 0 a week. The placebo group only had a weight change of 0.19%, so the drug definitely seemed to be doing something. Good news is, MET233i seemed to be generally okay for people to take. The most common side effects that did pop up were mostly stomach related, like nausea and vomiting, and they tended to get worse as the dose increased. Looking at the numbers in the highest dose group, where people got 2.4 milligrams of the drug, every single person, that's 100%, experienced some kind of stomach issue. Nausea and vomiting were the big ones, and in most cases they were mild. This is really important. Even though the weight loss results look promising, the company needs to keep a close eye on these side effects as they move forward. The way the drug moved through the body, its pharmacokinetics was pretty predictable. It went up and down in proportion to the dose, and it hung around for a while. The half-life, which is how long it takes for half of the drug to disappear from the body, was about 19 days. This suggests that this medicine stays in your system for weeks, and that means less frequent injections. Next up, let's discuss the second part of the trial, the multiple ascending dose, or MAD. Here they had another 40 participants split into 4 groups. These groups got weekly doses of the drug for 5 weeks, again with different amounts ranging from 0.5 weeks, again with different amounts ranging from 0.5 milligrams to 1.2 milligrams to 1.2 milligrams to how to read and 0 yens to 1.2 milligrams or a placebo. Similar to the single dose trial, they saw weight loss that depended on how much of the drug people received. The group that got 1.2 milligrams had an average weight loss of 8.4% after subtracting the placebo effect by day 36. So for someone weighing 200 pounds, that's a loss of almost 17 pounds in about 5 weeks. The placebo group only had a zero of almost 17 pounds in about 5 weeks. The placebo group only had a zero certified just like in the single dose part, the drug was generally well tolerated. The most common side effects were again stomach related, and they got worse as the dose increased. The good news is that these side effects were mostly mild, and they mainly happened during the first week, even though the amount of drug in the body was increasing over time. Out of all the people in this part of the trial, only 3 or 7.5% had to stop taking the drug, and none of those discontinuations were blamed on the side effects. Looking closer at the stomach issues, nausea was reported by 100% of participants in the highest dose group, 1.2 million. While most cases were mild, it's a factor that needs careful monitoring as further trials are conducted. The way the drug moved through the body in the multiple dose part was similar to another drug they're working on called MET097i. The company believes this is a good sign, suggesting that these two drugs could potentially be combined into a monthly injection. So what's next for Metsera? Well, they're moving forward with METI233i as a possible treatment on its own and also in combination with MET097i. They're currently running a trial where people get weekly doses of MET233i for 12 weeks, with the dose being adjusted over time. After that, they'll get a monthly dose at week 13. They expect to have the main results from this trial by the end of 2025. They've also extended a trial where people are taking both METI233i and MET097i together for 12 weeks. They expect to have those results by the end of 2026. Plus, they're expecting to share results from another drug, MET034i, which is also being tested with MET097i by the end of 25i, which is also being tested with MET097i by the end of 2025, or early 2026. Plus, they're expecting to share results from another drug, MET034i, which is also being tested with MET097i by the end of 2025. Now, before we get too excited, it's important to remember that these are just early results and there are always risks involved in drug development. The company reminds everyone that things could change and their expectations might not be accurate. They mention some specific risks in their filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, like the possibility that their drugs might have side effects, that they might not be able to get approval from the FDA, or that they might not be able to protect their patents. It's crucial to note that the company isn't promising to update these forward-looking statements, even if things change, unless the law requires them to do so. That's why it's important not to rely too heavily on these statements as representing their views at any point in the future. Alright, that's our breakdown of Metsera's latest 8K filing. While the weight loss results are promising, the side effects and risks involved in drug development should be carefully considered. Now let's zoom out. Metsera seems to be making some bold moves in the obesity treatment space. The results from their phase 1 trial are definitely eye-catching, showing significant weight loss with their METI233i drug. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Those stomach-related side effects like nausea and vomiting are a real concern. They were pretty common, especially at higher doses, so Metsera needs to figure out how to manage those if they want this drug to be a success. On the plus side, the fact that MET233i has a long half-life, meaning it stays in the body for weeks, is a big win. Less frequent injections are always better for patients. Plus, the company's plan to combine MET233i with another drug, MET097i, could be a smart move, potentially creating a more effective treatment. Of course, drug development is a risky business. There's always the chance that things could go wrong in later trials or that the FDA might not approve the drug. But if Metsera can navigate those challenges, they could be onto something big. So what's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.